Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Typical Skeptic Podcast. This is a impromptu podcast. This is someone I met on Facebook. I have with me Soy Dominica Magdalena. She's a healer. She's like a QHH healer, but she does a lot. We're going to be getting into everything she does today. I'm going to read her bio here. Let me just pull it up 1 second. She does, but as you can see, she does spiritual art. She does prophecies. She does quantum healing, hypnosis, and she's very connected to like the divine mother goddess energy. And yeah, let me just okay. So her bio says D.O.M is the embodiment of the return of Christ consciousness and the extension of the right white rose lineage, initially known for her prophetic art that can create living holograms for new reality. She is awakened to the memory of multidimensional self and unity with God. She is a modern day prophet, teacher, healer, and channeler. Wow. Through her art and channeling abilities, she connects and downloads information from ascended masters, Source, Galactic Federation of Light, and a multidimensional council of one that is overseeing the awakening progress of our planet Earth. Daily, she is mentoring women who wish to step onto the divine feminine path and become the new Earth leaders truly and authentically. And I'd like to give her a big warm welcome to the show. Dominica, or should I go by Dominica? Dominica, how are you? Thank you for joining me.
I am very good, and thank you so much for having me. I think it is such a wonderful, truly such a wonderful work that you are doing. And shortly before we connected on Zoom, I was actually receiving information from the Council of One, admiring and praising your work, that you created this space where people can come and share the truth and share their own experiences and kind of find this peace for ourselves too, because isn't that true that often we kind of feel like, is it really real? What is happening? Because the division between what we've been told and programmed to believe is so different to what the truth truly is. So we often can feel alienated, and sometimes, we may doubt whatever is coming through us. So thank you so much for having me in this beautiful space.
Yeah, thank you. I admire your work. This is amazing. I'm going to do a screen share and then we're going to share some of this amazing art you've created. Let me see if I can screen share here. Um, okay, so there's I'm on that's your Facebook page. Are
Oh,
those on Facebook?
okay.
And this is your art. This is amazing. So tell us a little bit about this art. You said Marina Jacobi said this art kind of comes to life, right?
Yeah, so after my awakening started, I mean, since I was creating since I was a very little child, and I did have some idea that I'm doing something more than just art since I was in my youth age, because my audience, my clients, my friends would come and they would often tell me that, do you realize that what you just painted actually manifested? But back then in my 20s, we didn't have internet, we didn't have, access to any kind of sources of spiritual knowledge in Poland then. So I was putting everything down to coincidence. But when my personal awakening started in 2017, the manifestations became so profound that I even painted a human being, and the same person manifested in my life several months later. Additionally, the titles that are the prophetic words and the ceiling for the manifestation, they became very, very deep, and they were related to Christ consciousness. They were related to the awakening of the divine feminine. So I started to seek for some answers, and very quickly through Dolores Cannon group that we have on Facebook, I found an interview with Marina Jacobi. And when I watched the interview with her, I kind of felt this pull to contact her, because I knew that she would be able to give me some sort of answers of what I'm actually doing here. And when I met with her those years ago, and she examined briefly the paintings, and she started to channel the Council of Nine, she said, forget that you are creating decorations for the wall. She said, those paintings do not have energy from planet Earth. That's what she exactly said. And she said, you are creating living holograms for your own reality. And because they have pure energy of source, the potency of whatever you create is so strong that it starts to manifest itself within the physical reality. That's what she said.
Wow, so that's amazing. Can you explain some of these? These are really amazing. Let me ask you this. Why did you, so I know your name's Dominica,
Yeah.
which I really love that name. I used to have an ex-girlfriend named Dominica. But why Soy Magdalena? Like what's the whole name mean altogether? Like why'd you choose that name?
Well, so it was obviously there is no coincidences. I simply wanted to change my name and my last name into just my name, which is Dominika Magdalena, because I got divorced and I didn't want to use my last name. And I wanted to type on Facebook, I am Dominika Magdalena, and it didn't allow me to type that in for some reason. So I typed I am in Spanish, which is soy. So
Yeah.
it turned out to be Soy Dominica Magdalena. Magdalena is my another of my names that I took during the confirmation ceremony, which is actually a Christian and Catholic tradition in Poland. Um, and my nickname is actually D.O.M. This is the nickname I've been using since I can remember as an artist, and I choose D.O.M. also in a very um, mysterious situation. It was a quite a maybe mysterious situation because I didn't want to sign my paintings with my very long Polish name and last name. And I said to my friend, I really would like to find some kind of nickname that I can use as my signature. And that was a very basic idea that was born within my 18-year-old mind that I just want to have a nickname. And my friend told me then, why don't you use D.O.M.? And I said, what does it mean? And he said, this is a Latin phrase, Dio optimo maximo. And he said, everyone will think it's a shortcut from your name, Dominica, but what it truly means is that the gift, that's what he told me, that it means that the gift that you have comes from God. And by painting, you are giving your gratitude back to the source. And because I was raised in a Catholic tradition, that was very much aligned with me. I was always very close to God, to Jesus. So I decided, okay, so from now on, I will sign every single painting, as you can see on the watermark, D.O.M. And I was using that signature for all those years. And then 4 years ago, when I was going through my very fast awakening and I started to trans channel too, my spirit guides came to me one day to my studio and they asked me this. Do you know what Dio Optimo truly means? And I said, yes, well, it means that I have a gift from God. You know, that's what my friend told me 20 years ago. And I'm giving gratitude back to the source by utilizing my artistic gifts. And they said to me, why don't you go on the internet and check once again? And bear in mind that I took this nickname before I turned 20. Now I'm in my 40s. So it took me over 20 years, and we already had the internet connection, access to all this wisdom, but I never thought about checking Dio Optimo Maximo. Only when they came in and I checked Dio Optimo Maximo, it actually means the greatest God. And that was a moment when I think the process of very slow and very humble with great humility process for me started of the self-realization of this oneness with God. When you are being raised in a Catholic tradition to say something like, I am God, I am Goddess, I am the source, I am one with everything and everyone, was a challenge for me. It wasn't coming easy. It was very challenging for my belief system, maybe not belief system, but I think the true love and the true humility I always felt for God. But as I told you before we went online, paintings were always playing such a crucial role because effectively all those paintings that I painted were leading me to this self-realization and this Christ consciousness. But it was a very um, mind-bending path for me to finally fully let God in and become one. But when I allowed this, thanks to also channelings with Jesus, when I was channeling Jesus's wisdom, and when he was helping me a lot, um, the expansion of the heart space And when you truly feel God, truly feel, and you feel this frequency of God is something that can't be described in words. Because from my experience, I know there is a lot of people who will tell you today, we are gods, I am God. The fourth level of the consciousness, as me consciousness, I am God, I am commanding this, I am creating this, I am manifesting this. But it takes a lot of commitment and this humility to allow the true divine love and frequency inside of your heart. It is also a very devoted path when you truly need to face what God, what the shadow of you still is it, and it's not allowing you to fully allow it within you. And another aspect of it is that obviously when you are stepping closer and closer into this oneness consciousness, and you are vibrating very, very high, you will expose yourself to very, very dark forces. The further away the polarity of the frequency, the greater the exposure and often attacks from the, let's be honest, dark side, yeah, which also exists.
I agree.
So
Yeah.
that is still a process for me, but I'm glad that we could show the paintings because they are such an important aspect of my personal journey.
I was going to say, do you feel really connected to the Mary Magdalene energy, or like the figure of
Yes,
Mary
yes,
Magdalene as well?
yes, very, very much so. In fact, actually, the name that I took on during the confirmation when I was 15, maybe, when I was a little girl, I remember. So when I was 7, Jesus Christ showed himself up to me in spirit. He just showed himself up. And that was a very profound spiritual experience for me as a little child and stayed with me and kept me going through my life when I was going through some very traumatic experiences. But also when I was a very little girl, I remember there was no information about Mary Magdalene. You know, the religion classes that we had at school, in a Catholic school, no one was ever saying anything about the Mary Magdalene. So I only knew that this person existed, but I completely knew nothing. From some movies in a TV, I've seen some scenarios that she was saved by Jesus from being stoned. But then I remember one event when someone told me that Mary Magdalene, and probably it was even a child at school or something like that, when this discussion was somehow brought up, that she was a prostitute. And I remember a wave of anger and disagreement that arose from my physical body, emotional body. I did not understand, but I felt this urge to say, this is not the truth. This is not the truth at all. And therefore, when I was 15, not understanding why, I really felt that the best name choice that I could make for myself was Magdalena because I wanted to honor her. I felt such a deep connection with her that I wanted to honor her, even though I knew nothing then, um, by taking her name Magdalena. Um, Now, obviously, it's a different story because through the paintings, I also learned how to merge different now timelines, so I can open a portal to a different now timeline, and I can have a pure conversation with Hathor, and I am having conversation with Mary Magdalene, and I'm having conversation with Mother Mary, with Green Tara, so we having those conversations through the dimensions because it is truly possible. Hathor taught me how to bilocate and how to shift my attention into a different now timeline so I can speak to every single ascendant master. So right now, the connection with Mary Magdalene is obviously much more evolved and much deeper. But yeah, it
Can I ask you a
started actually,
question?
yeah.
I just thought of this, and this is I think this is a really important thing to go over. Like I'm like I date women, right? So like I see this in the community. Like I talk to a lot of women that are in our community. Like I don't date them all. There are a lot of them are just my friends and stuff like that. And what I'm saying is, it seems like women in their 40s that are in our community. And even like 50s and 60s too, but it seems most of the it seems like all the women have really stepped into like this divine feminine power where they're really absorbing a lot of the spiritual knowledge, and they seem to be like levels ahead of the men. Like when I talk to some of the women that I talk to, they're like they have all this knowledge absorbed, and I'm wondering like, why do you think that is? Do you think that they're just kind of stepping into their divine feminine power?
Well, from one of the prophetic paintings that I did, which was of Mary Magdalene and Yeshua, and the painting is not displayed on the website, it's called Together, and it's a prophecy of the great return of the Mary Magdalene and Jesus. Um, and the positioning of them two on this painting is this. She is one step ahead of him, and she stands on the right side. Bear in mind that on the right side, normally a man was positioned because he could walk before a woman with with a sword to protect her. And he was the leader, right? He was leading with the sword. On the painting now, a feminine, she stands on the right. He stands one step behind her, but he holds her right palm on her back, supporting her, letting her know that she's there, grounding her, making her feel safe. And through his palm, the energy from his heart goes through the portal of his palm into her heart center. So the two hearts are merged. So there is no difference in prioritizing our role as a divine feminine and a masculine. We are both equal, but the role slightly shifted. I believe from what I've been shown and what I've been told by divine feminine ascendant masters, that the rebirth of the divine feminine started kind of, first of all, it's completely different than the rebirth of the masculine, but started slightly quicker, and it was more extended in time, so the divine feminine could start to remember who she is, what kind of access to what kind of knowledge she has. She had to regain access to her sacred womb space. I'm not sure if you are aware, but when the patriarchal system was being born, when it was birthing itself, it knew exactly that the high priestesses, that the divine feminines, they possessed extreme power through their sacred womb spaces, which is the space of creation of all. And them being connected equally to the cosmos and to the Mother Earth, they were extremely dangerous with the knowledge that they had and the power of utilizing the sacred energy from their wombs. And that's why they first of all turned all the temples into ruins. And then when they brought all the wars and the distortion between a man and a woman, the war between the most sacred two energies, yeah, the two energies that create all, they brought this wave of rapes. They brought those crimes. They brought those horrific actions that were aiming to disconnect woman from her womb space and create so much trauma there that she was scared of her own femininity. And they knew exactly that by disconnecting her from her femininity and being scared of the masculine, she will step into her own masculine energy. And the conflict will become even bigger. So the feminine, in a way, she needed that time to heal all those traumas from her womb space. She needed the time to finally fully feel safe in that space and to reconnect to the sacred knowledge that is encoded within our DNA. They thought they're gonna hide everything from us by destroying everything, but it was hidden within our DNA. So it can be activated by the divine power at the specific time. And that's what is happening. When I'm working with women, still on their womb spaces, I often have to remove literally demonic beings that are actually specifically aiming within women to attack the womb space. Why? Because this is from where she's creating the reality. So the feminine may appear to many that she's so knowledgeable, that she's maybe more advanced, but the masculine is going through his own awakening in a completely different way. And bear in mind that the trauma imposed on the masculine that was disconnected from his heart, from his emotions, is huge. So he needs to heal in a different way, but she needs to become this light for him, this memory, to trigger this memory within him that it is safe to connect to his emotions and his heart. And that's when they can come together. That's when the twin flames can also step into the union. when they are both starting to recognize the divine within each other. This is a very well-designed process of the rebirth, and we need to trust it. But there's no difference in terms of importance of both of energies, whether internally or externally, as a man and as a woman. It is a purely sacred and divinely orchestrated and protected process.
That's fascinating. I love that. So, I don't know if the audience heard this yet. You had connected with Marina Jacoby, who I've had on my show, and I love Marina's teachings. I feel like
Yeah,
Marina's very advanced. She's like
she
very
is very
advanced, you know.
advanced. Yeah,
And can you tell the audience what she said about your paintings and how that came to light?
so I booked literally a 30 minute session with Marina that I had to wait for like 6 months because she's offering those sessions and there's so many people waiting. And when I met Marina, I told her about the paintings, that whatever I paint manifests itself within my personal life, and that the prophecies, the manifestations became very strong and powerful because I painted a person and the same person appears in my life. And that kind of started, not to freak me out, but I really wanted to know, what am I actually doing? So when Marina looked at the paintings that also contained codes, numerological codes, then now they also contain light codes, she said, forget that you are creating decorations for the wall. You are creating living holograms. She said that the paintings do not have energy from planet Earth, and the potency of those paintings is so high because they have a frequency of pure source. So whatever I paint, it is not only healing you, it has such a strong potency of creation. Imagine the source creation, that it manifests itself as a situation, as a person, as a growth in my life, absolutely in any possible way. So right now, what I'm doing when my clients come to commission art to me, um, I am creating not a painting for them, I am creating a hologram for their reality. But it is not a hologram that they can request. For example, I would like you to create a hologram where I have a new car, or I have this sexy wife, or I have this beautiful villa. It is them surrendering to my work and asking for the hologram with the frequency vibration of the timeline that contains their highest potential, their divine blueprint. And the only question that I can ask them is what colors you don't like, and the rest you need to surrender. Because when I'm stepping into this work, I don't sketch, I don't make concept of it. I simply surrender also to the canvas. And that's when I'm stepping into this trance and I'm painting this person. Often I am being surrounded by ancestors of this person. Galactic families will come to my studio. Spirit animals are coming to my studio. I am feeling what is being healed during the creative process, what kind of energies needs to be released. And then when a person receives a portrait, the person also receives a whole message, a long letter from the higher self and from the spirit realm about the hologram. What kind of journey awaits ahead for this person in order to step into this divine blueprint? Now, on the molecular
Molecular.
level, what happens is that the paintings that is vibrating and the molecules within the paintings with this high potency that contain the encoded information about this blueprint, they are vibrating and the molecules of the client starting to mimic each other. And because this molecule, for example, still contains some trauma, some memory, some distortions, it will be triggered to a point that the person needs to release it so it can become a match. And bit by bit, molecule by molecule, this person is slowly stepping into the highest potential. So this original blueprint will create also scenarios in your life. If there is a person that needs to leave your life, work that needs to leave your life, energetic clearance, whatever it needs to be released, The painting will be vibrating with such a potency that it will start to create those scenarios in your life when everything that needs to go will go, and you will be able to elevate, and the molecules will start matching themselves like mirrors, two mirrors.
That's fascinating. And then what about the prophecies? Like what have you been sharing about prophecies? Like, and
So yeah,
do you feel like you're very prophetic, or what do you yeah.
if someone would told me 10 years ago that I will become the modern day prophet, I would probably not believe. It was really hard for me to believe that the titles of the paintings that were also coming to me very spontaneously, that they will become my prophecies. Right now, when I am waking up in the morning, one of the first things I do is I am asking for the prophecy for my day, for my personal day. When I'm working with the clients, like just 2 days ago, I opened a new group for women when I'm uh, not coaching them because I don't like this word, but we are going through a 4 months long journey of the embodiment of the divine feminine Christ leadership. The first thing that I received for every single woman was a prophetic word for the journey ahead. But since last year, I am receiving prophecies uh, for the for the collective from the Sophia Christ consciousness. And one of two last prophecies that she came to me with, that this energy, that this consciousness gave me, was this. And I shared this on my social media, that the year 2024 is the year of your personal choice and the year of split. This is the year where the gift of free will choice that is often misunderstood, neglected, or willingly given away will be greatly needed for you in order to either stay with the old or move forward in the new. And when I was channeling Sophia Christ consciousness, she clearly said that the choices are starting within our mental space when we are choosing our thoughts, our words that are so powerful, that literally have the power of birthing themselves instantly into their reality. The choice comes also when we decide either to take responsibility for our thoughts, emotions, and actions or not. She said that the situations within the collective and the situations within our personal lives will be creating a lot of opportunities for us to choose differently, to choose from the heart. Where do you decide to go? Which God you decide to follow? The mind that is often hijacked and the thoughts are may not even be yours, or will you finally start to follow the God within? We will be given multiple situations where our choices will be tested as well, where the ego will be trying to interfere. But she said that year 2024, the energy will be moving very, very fast. The changes will be very, very fast. It will be very important to stay in and now so we are aware when we are making those choices. The Council of One told me a week ago, and I shared this on my Facebook too, that within the last solar flare activations, we all, regardless of how awakened we are, received an activation, almost like a golden button is pressed, where the calling of the heart is amplified. So we can finally start following this pull, this calling of the soul, this calling of the truth within us. But the governments will be creating some new scenarios, some new situation that will be aiming to create confusion and chaos so we can disconnect again. So the Council of One came to kind of warn us with the message starting brace, brace, brace. It's time to really stop and think for yourself and acknowledge that you have the power, and do not allow yourself to be fooled again, to be pushed into this chaos, because they are doing that on purpose. The second prophecy that Sophia gave me beginning of this year was this: many will speak in my name, but not all of them will have me in their hearts. And then she started explaining that many are now aware of the universal laws. Many are aware on how to manifest and create better realities, but not many are doing that through the pure connection to the God self. And she said, be aware of the false prophets. Be aware what you really follow. Are you manifesting this from your ego space? Are you manifesting this from your heart? Are you creating this service, this product for your own glorification? Or are you creating this to truly serve the one that knows much less, that has much less? The love must be really, really pure. And what I can tell you very honestly, and this is the first time I'm sharing this publicly, um, when I had 2 years ago my ayahuasca ceremony, that was my first ayahuasca ceremony. I did not know what to expect. But the first thing that Mother Ayahuasca told me when I found myself lying on the ground in the middle of the Amazonian forest, when I just started my journey, she came to me and she said, "You are ready to die." I was expecting, okay, what kind of work I still need to do on myself? She said, "You are ready to die," which means your ego is ready to die, is ready to dissolve. And she started to take me through this ego dissolution process, which was continuing for at least those 2 years after. And that's how ayahuasca works. But what I started to remember a year ago was something horrific. It was in a moment when I started to lose the frame of being just Dominica, and I knew that this is just one of my avatars. And I started to lose the physical frame. I would wake up in the morning and I could feel I am everywhere. I am one with everything. But in a moment of this bliss, I started to remember something that initially really, really scared me. The vision that was brought to my consciousness and the pain in my heart, the ripping pain in my heart was so tragic, so scary, and I didn't know what it was. And then the more I was evolving, and opening myself up, I've understood that what I've seen was the worst of the worstest case scenario for humanity, where children were being murdered and raped literally by demonic beings. And the pain here was so big. And in the same time, love was so big, the two polarities and this feeling of disagreement, not given my agreement. I felt like I am Sophia and I could not give the agreement for what is happening to the humanity. And sorry, and I remember just screaming for the love of my children. And that's how I actually created my now weekly open Zoom meetings for free at 6 p.m. UK time, 10 a.m. PST, for anyone who wants to come and receive channeling from Sophia Christ Consciousness and the healing. But I remember this pain ripping my heart apart when I see a vision of what we can truly become as humans. The division, the pain, and the attack on the innocence of the humankind, of the children, on the purity. And I honestly don't want to spread any fear, because this is the last thing I want to do. If anything, the awareness and the encouragement that there's so much more to us if we open ourselves up to our hearts, because God is always there. Spirit guides, this whole spiritual realm is more real than what we are experiencing here. We've been locked in a matrix that has been dictated by a logical, very rigid frame, and we became enslaved in it. And what the universe, what all the ascendant masters, what all the councils wants for us is to give ourselves another chance. But it is up to us. This is the year of choice. They can't interfere with our free will choice. That's why Sophia said, this is a year of split. This is a year of your choice. The split will be based on your choices, on our choices. And this is the time to finally stop and start observing what kind of choices we are making and start taking responsibility for them, because no one else will, because we have a free will choice. No one will come and save us. It's like, I remember when I was speaking to Mary Magdalene and she gave me this channeling and I posted it 4 years ago. Don't be fooled, like even those who followed Jesus in our times, and believe that the God's kingdom will come and simply appear in front of them. will be given to them as a gift. It needs to first be birthed inside of you. We know the laws of quantum physics. In order for reality to manifest itself, it needs to first be birthed inside of us, because the external reality is just mimicking us. So we need to start taking responsibility. It's a big wake-up call. It's no longer a woo-woo stuff, and rainbows and unicorns. Sure, this is great. Meditations, opening communities, and all of that. It's beautiful, but the seriousness of the situation we are in is huge. And people don't understand that what the government truly is. And I'm not saying that everyone, but what we've been manipulated into, that the government is a manifestation of the collective toxic ego. Everything manifests externally and in a physical form. And the more we are allowing ourselves to be manipulated, limited, lied to, it's us on the individual level allowing ourselves to be like that with our own thoughts, with our own choices, with our own toxic egos. It's time to take responsibility for that.
I agree. I can tell this is really like deep in you. I can tell you really feel this because you seem very sincere and you seem very genuine. I can tell. So you do this every week for free. You do the channelings for free.
Every single week for free. If someone would like to join, they only need to send me their email address so I can send them Zoom links, invitations on a weekly basis. If they can't come, it's being recorded, and after every Sunday they're receiving recording that is uploaded to my YouTube channel too. And they can listen and they can come and ask a question. They can ask for healing. They can come with anything. But the first thing I always do, I am channeling message for the collective wherever I am being given.
What's your YouTube channel so people know?
D.O. Maximo at D.O. Maximo.
I can try to look it up and share it. Hold on. Let me try to find it. Let me put this here. This isn't in the way. I can share it in the chat and everything. What did you say it is? It's at VO.
D.O. D.O. I'm gonna send you in chat, okay?
Okay,
Can I?
yeah.
You see it?
And then I'll post it in the YouTube chat. Hold on. So we can let me look at the chat. Oh, Dio Optimo Maximo. I'm gonna put this in the YouTube chat now so people can look at it. And then what we'll do before we finish up is we'll go back to your paintings for one more time, and then we'll give the audience a good idea of your paintings, and then we'll finish up. But yeah, let me just put this in the chat. There we go, guys. That's her YouTube channel that I just put in the chat. If you guys want to give her a follow, and then we're gonna go over her paintings one more time because I have another show at 4, but we have some time. We have a half hour. I'm not in any hurry. Let me see here. Share screen. Okay, there we go. So did you want to like kind of explain some of these? Are these just people you've met? Like this one's called And So It Is. Oh, there we go. Now it's sharing. This one's called And So It Is. Is that are they what are the meanings of some of these? Or is it like are these just kind of people you've met along your way?
I will maybe share a little bit more about the one on a blue background, which is called the healer.
Where is that
See
at?
the one? No, you just had it. Just go back.
Okay.
And this blue background with two palms open like that.
This one? Or
This
this
one
one?
here.
Oh, this one, the healer.
Yeah, the healer. Yeah.
It says it's called One Portal, it says. That's what it
No,
says.
no, 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 no. The one the next one on a blue background. This
Oh, okay, I
the
see it. The
healer.
healer, yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah. So with this particular painting, for example, I was walking my dogs in the woods one morning and I was joined by Archangel Michael and Raphael. And when we walked through the woods, they showed me this image of this woman in my third mind's eye. And they said, go and paint her. And it gave me such a rush of energy. It felt to me that this is really, really important. And I did not understand. In fact, I never understand why I'm painting certain things or why am I painting them the way I am. I am surrendering. So I went and I painted this woman. I had an image of a similar woman on my iPad that I often use only to trace the face features. Sometimes it's difficult to paint a nose, from your mind. So I had this woman and I was very quickly painting her and applying the colors, and I realized that the colors were dictated by the colors of the chakras. So you can see from the top, the white dots of white energy, purple, blue, green, yellow, orange, and red. But the process when I'm painting is always very fast that people sometimes find it hard to believe. For example, this is a painting that is a square meter, but I did it in a 6 hours and it was finished. But when I painted the woman, they told me, now paint the open palms. But I said, but she doesn't have palms on the image. How do I paint palms, from my head? And they said, no, you need to find another image of palms and you need to give her an open palm. So I did what they told me to do. And then they said, you need to put a golden coin in each palm and then circle one with the green color and then the other one with the blue color. And I did this, and initially, and this is always a very stupid idea because when they give me the prophecies or they give me some symbols, I try to crack them from my mental space and never works. And always the manifestation comes in a completely different way. So initially I thought the blue and the green is probably the color of the Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael, and I left it because I always just leave those paintings and allow them to manifest. But what happens with me later was that the two chakras that I had mainly blocked my throat because of I was not allowed to speak when I was a child, or when I said that I seen Jesus, I was told that I am a liar, so I blocked this chakra, and then my heart space was hugely blocked by many different reasons, like for many of us. It turned out that these are my two main chakras that I am healing from. And around maybe 2 years ago, during my sessions, when I'm also surrendering to this spirit, to the sessions, my palms instantaneously start to go like that. And I start to heal with my palms. And when I was creating this painting, I never thought that I will become the healer. But now what I do in my sessions, I heal with exactly like the painting, with my voice, with the frequency of the wisdom when I'm channeling, and with my expanded heart space.
Can I tell you something? When you have your hands out like that, like she has, like when I'm holding my, like if you can see me, like
Yeah,
how I'm holding my
yeah,
hands out like this, you can feel the energy going into your hands. You know what I mean? So I
yeah,
think
I
it's
know.
significant of that as well. Like my friend told me that one time. He told me, he said, he comes on my show and he said, just stand there with your hands out like that. And then he said, he had me start chanting like Om or something, or, and he said, can you feel the energy going into your hands? And I said, yeah, I definitely can. Like, I
Because we
wonder,
have portals here. Yeah, we have portals here.
I've heard a Native American elder say that we have eyes there. Like that, he said that we have like they're etheric eyes. I don't know if that's that, but I mean, like, but what? Why do you say portals? That's interesting. Is that what it is? Is it portal?
Portals for energy, for sending out the energy. For example, medicine women who are very well connected to their sacred womb spaces, they use the energy from their wombs and they are transmitting the energy from the womb through her arm into the palms, and they perform the hands-on healing by transforming this either from the womb or the heart energy, which is the most healing, onto the patient. This is an open portal where you can just simply, very simply, through your intention, because you are so powerful, you can literally command this energy to be now directed and used for the purpose of healing.
That's fascinating. I love that. That's this is an amazing painting, and that's already sold. So I see you're selling these. I see all three of these on top are sold. Let's go to one that's maybe not. Oh wait, your all your paintings are sold. Holy
The red,
smokes!
the
Oh
red
wait,
one is, sorry, go back. The red one is not sold.
this one's not sold. The Sacred Womb Space
No, the
Portal.
red one.
Oh, the red one. This one.
Yeah.
This is a nice one. Let's talk about this one. So what was your inspiration for, maybe we can get a painting sold today or something. Maybe
It's
but
quite
somebody will
expensive,
go,
probably. If I would love. this painting to find a new home.
You can
But
I just
this
tell
is
you though, you have amazing, amazing, amazing talent. I've never seen, I mean, I've seen some amazing art, but this is really beautiful art. This is like, I mean, like I'm like blown away by how amazing your art is. I love art. I just can't do it myself. So when I see someone with like talent like yourself, it's like really special, you know?
Thank you so much. This is actually probably one of the most important paintings for me, called The Portal into the Unknown. It was one of the initial portals that I opened through my art. And it is special because shortly before I created her, I called her to be alive. I went through my own sacred womb healing process with my beautiful mentor, Kelly Morgan. And Kelly was a person who introduced me to this knowledge. And I had zero knowledge before I met her, really. And the activations that I went through were also very profound and, in her own words, very fast. So I could very easily start to communicate with my womb consciousness, which is almost like a separate consciousness. It's all one consciousness, but she has her own wisdom this way, yeah, very easily and very fast. And after my healing process, I was painting this beautiful painting. And when I was nearly finishing, the spirit told me to paint a white circle around her navel and made this white dot. And then I'm not sure if you can see it, but inside there are golden letters, which are not the letters that we know, but these are the symbols of the galactic light codes. And I decided to do that, not obviously understanding what I did here. I honestly had no clue why, but I always follow what comes through me. And I sent the image of this painting to Kelly, and I just simply told her, "Look, Kelly, this is the fruit of my healed womb space. This is what I painted after, we went through our process together." And she returned to me saying, "Do you know what you just painted?" And I said, "Well, it's another painting of mine. What do you mean?" And she said, "See the circle that you painted around her navel? In the ancient times, when a woman was initiated to the status of high priestess or the divine feminine, she was having that tattooed around her navel. And it was proved by some um, documents found in archives of mummified, high priestesses, where the remainings of the body was exposed, and they actually had that tattooed around their navels. I had no access to this kind of knowledge, but Kelly returned to me. She said, "That's what you just painted." So I connected to the feminine, the one feminine. There's just one feminine energy. There is no separate feminines. And funnily enough, I remember when I was 18, maybe I wrote this in my notebook. To truly become a woman, you need to become all women at once. And even that word kind of, prophesies in itself now in my personal life, when I'm just connecting and just shooting through those timelines and speaking to Hathor and speaking to Mary Magdalene and creating those paintings, when I unconsciously create something that was already created and exists within the consciousness of the feminine.
That's fascinating. We'll do one more and then we'll finish up. We'll do one that, oh, they're all sold. But let's talk about one anyway. I like this one a lot. This one seems really cool. I wish I could talk about this one here.
This one was actually painted with the assistance of Raphael, of Archangel Raphael. You can also see codes around her halo.
I see
And
she
this,
has the 1111 on her arm.
yeah, yeah. And she is called the warrior within. Uh, uh, for me personally, because I can only share my personal story with this painting, each painting that was sold will manifest itself differently for a person that acquired the painting or a person who was exposed to the hologram of the painting. For me personally, one of the things that I would never choose to do as a spiritual teacher or a healer is to work with the dark, not with the dark forces, but to,
Yeah.
remove them and protect others from it. That would be the last thing that I would touch. And I remember over a year ago, my spirit guides started to come very gently and they would start showing me things. And I would turn my head the opposite direction and I would say, no, I really don't really want to work with any removal of demonic possessions and things like that. It's not for me. I really wanted to work with the light, just have everything soft and safe. But they told me, and ayahuasca also showed me that this is something you've been doing forever and you are actually meant to do this. So when I started my work, and most of all, when I started to elevate my own frequency vibration, unfortunately, I was attacked on multiple occasions, and I had to stand up to it. I had to
Energy
become
attacks. And
these were literally demonic attacks,
yeah,
demonic attacks. But instead of reacting with fear, which initially I had to learn how to step into my own authority.
yeah.
I had to learn how to step into my own authority. And just because ayahuasca also showed me that this is something I was doing for a very long time. And actually in a ceremony, I remember standing in front of a group of those energies, and I said to them, I like how you tremble when I say my name out loud. That's what I said when I was in a ceremony. So the warrior within is almost like my personal story of becoming this wounded warrior that needs to stand up to it and find my own authority through the self-respect, self-honoring, and self-trust and self-belief. Because, the things that scare us the most, that's where we'll find our power. They are not here to make us weak. The greater the fear, the greater the power on the other side of the coin. So use it, don't run away from it, because I was in an escapism for a while from it, but use it to kind of escalate, to call in this dark feminine, this Sekhmet, this lioness, this black jaguar, and find your own damn authority as a woman, as a goddess. You have it in you. There is nothing more powerful than you. And right now, I'm coaching or mentoring. I honestly don't like those words. Um, Women who possess womb spaces made out of black obsidian. Because when you enter the sacred womb space of a woman, the spiritual one, not the flesh one, you can see what this womb is made of. So those women, the strongest one that came here to stand up against those dark forces, they have wombs made out of black obsidians. They have wombs that are not coming from this planet. I've seen such a devices in women's wombs that came here as the light workers, so powerful, but they need to be reconnected with that. How would you know otherwise that inside of you there is an extraterrestrial device that is there to help you to stand against those dark forces, archons, and whatever.
Well, I just think, like, as I said before, I think the women in the spiritual community are on a whole nother level, from like ages 40 to like 60, like in that area, like in the, like it seems like you get you women have like really like for example, like my friend Priscilla, she's so knowledgeable about everything. She reminds me of you. Like she just embodies, and she can heal too. Like she can heal me. Like when I asked her to heal me because I was going through like this liver pain or whatever, and it went away the last couple of days, but like it was bad for a while. And I would ask her to heal me, and she did. And then it's not just that, she just knows like so much. And it's like other women I talk to are really like keyed into like all the spiritual knowledge, and you guys absorb it so much more so than the men. I mean, the men know a lot too, and like you said, I think we're all stepping into our divine feminine and masculine, but I've really seen it in the women that embody this divine feminine energy.
Thank you so much. It means a lot to hear that from a masculine representation.
It's amazing, it's I love seeing it because I can tell that the collective's changing. I hope it is. I think it is. And
But we
shout
need
out to
to
you,
stand
Arizona Raven. You
together.
said you're 65. Yeah, I guarantee you don't look 65. Arizona Raven, she's like the mother of my podcast. She's in the chat right now. And I said to women in there, I think she knows what I mean, because like she's like very with it. She knows about everything. But anyway, so do you want to tell everybody where they can find you? And thank you so much for doing this.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. Yes, so my website is currently being finalized and going through maintenance. It's followmehome.world. Followmehome.world. On Facebook, you can find me under Soy Dominika Magdalena, but I do have a Facebook group called Follow Me Back Home. Uh,
Okay.
my artistic website is domart.co.uk, but I also have a page on Facebook dedicated for women who are struggling with substance addiction. And I'm mentioning this because I actually, through the work with quantum physics and my spirit guides, I invented a modality that is based actually on creating a new hologram of a sober version of a feminine that she can then merge with, not through a very harsh process of forcing your strong will on releasing the addiction, but going through a beautiful healing process and creation of a new hologram of a sober version of you that already exists, and all you need to do is merge with this hologram. So I'm mentioning this because I do know that a lot of women on spiritual path are scared of speaking about that out loud. I went through my own period of substance abuse, and I decided to share this knowledge to help women who maybe are seeking help through a different modality than the ones that maybe they've been trying up so far. And it's called Freed Femme. Freed Femme.
Freed Fem,
Yeah,
FREED F
yeah,
dot FEM.
yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's another thing that I see. I see a lot of like addiction in the starseed community too, so
Because it's hard at
because
times.
I think it's because we're all holding up such a high frequency that the people get kind of lost and they turn to stuff and so, but I think everybody's
There's
coming out of
there's
it
no
though.
listen, there is no shame. It is an experience. As long as you take it and grow from it and then help others without hiding, it's gonna become your strength. And there's no shame in it. Absolutely no shame.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Well, this was amazing. Thank you so much for doing this today. And thank you everybody who's watching
Thank you.
and remember to go subscribe to her channel. It's at Dio Optimo Maximo on YouTube. And if you like this video, subscribe so we get the subscriber count up and share this video, guys, so the video views go up. And thank you everybody. And thank you, Dominica. It was really nice meeting you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, and love, lots of love to everyone who is watching or will be watching the replay. Thank you so much, Robert.
All right. Take care, everybody.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.